Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at isolating quantities when we express one thing in terms of everything else in an equation. This is part of the Passport to Advanced Mathematics. As always, we're going to be doing 5 questions. We're going to explain them and look at the intricacies in these questions to help you ace the SAT math portion. If you like these videos or found them informative, please be sure to like and subscribe. And with that, let's get started. All right, so here we have that 7a plus 2b squared over 5 equals c. And we need to express b in terms of a and c. So we need to isolate b. How are we going to do that? We can multiply by 5 on both sides to get that 7a plus 2b squared equals 5c. Then we subtract 7a from both sides. 2b squared equals 5c minus 7a. We divide by 2 to get that b squared equals 5c minus 7a over 2. And then we take the square root of that, and that gives us that b equals square root of 5c minus 7a over 2, which is going to be answer choice C. Let's keep going. All right, the next question, here it is, question 2, and let's see what it is. All right, a times 1 minus x plus 5y equals 18, and we need to express x in terms of a and y. All right, so we can expand this out to get a minus ax plus 5y equals 18. We can add ax to both sides, subtract 18 from both sides to get that ax equals a plus 5y minus 18, which means that x, we divide by a, we get that 1 plus 5y over a, or 5y minus 18 over a, I should say. Right, which is also, if we wanted to, we could express that as 18 minus 5y times -1, or x equals 1 minus 18 minus 5y over a. Another way to write that. And looking at our answer choices, it is going to be answer choice A right here. So that's our answer. And let's move on to the next question. All right. Next question, and here it is. 2x over 7y equals, or 2x over 7y minus 1 equals 10z, and we're trying to find y in terms of x and z. All right, let's see how we're going to do this. Well, what can we do? We can add 1 to both sides, so that 2x over 7y equals 10z plus 1. And then we can multiply by 7y to both sides and divide by 10z plus 1 to both sides. And we get that, or actually we can multiply by just y to both sides and divide by 10z plus 1 to both sides to get that y equals the 2x over 7 times 10z plus 1. And that's our answer. Looking at our answer choices, that seems to be answer choice B. So that's our answer. And let's move on. All right, question number 4, and here it is. The square root of 10x minus 2xy equals 4x, and we're trying to express y in terms of x. First thing we're going to do is we're going to square both sides, and we get that 10x minus 2xy equals 4x squared. We can add 2xy to both sides, subtract 4x squared from both sides to get 2xy equals negative 4x squared plus 10x, and then divide by 2x on both sides to get that y equals negative 2x plus 5. Looking at our answer choices, that is choice C. And let's move on to the next question, except that it wasn't correct, and let's figure out why. Right, this is what you have to do. You have to make sure that every single piece is correct, and you have to make sure that you check your answers. Right? This is why you have to check your answers. Let's see what you did wrong. So what we did wrong is that we didn't square the 4x. Right? Like I'm willing to bet that most of you didn't notice that, but you have to square the 4x. you have to do that to every single part of the equation. You have to be sure that you're not messing up anywhere. So you have 10x minus 2xy, and that equals 4x squared, which is 16x squared, right? Don't miss that. Make sure you check your answer again for that, right? It does seem like a lot more real just getting it wrong, but make sure you actually check your answer to see what you're doing wrong, right? And then from there, obviously, it's going to be similar, right? You're going to subtract the 16x, add the 2xy. The same thing is going to happen. And you're going to end up with a negative 8x plus 5. But make sure every single step of the way you're doing is correct. And make sure you check it, especially if this is the kind of question that you can go through easily if you get more practice with this. And that's why the answer is B, because you have to square the 4x. Make sure to not forget that. Make sure to just not leave points around carelessly. Let's move on to the last question, question 5, and here it is. A equals 5bc over 20 plus 10, and we're told that the equation above gives the quantity A in terms of the quantities B and C. Which of the following equation correctly gives B in terms of A and C? Let's see what we can do. Well, we can subtract 10 and get A minus 10 equals 5bc over 20, which is just bc over 4. We can multiply by 4 on both sides, and we can divide by c on both sides to get that b equals 4a minus 40 over c. Looking at our answer choices, that is choice B. So we can click that. Before we do, remembering what happened last problem, let's check our answer, right? Let's see if everything we did actually makes sense. If we plug in B back in there into that equation, we had BC over 4. So we're going to end up with A minus 10 times C over C. So this cancels. A minus 10 plus 10 is A, which equals A on the other side. So this is correct, and this works. Check your answer. That is it. Make sure to check your answer. Make sure to isolate these variables as you've been doing throughout your study of algebra, and I'll see you next time.